Hey man, what it is? This is Deem, and I am your host, and this is by any means. There go to Cash App, $ Deem by any means. There go to PayPal at Deem by any means. Y'all see that heart with the $? Well, that's the super thanks. You could press that at any time your heart desires. You know what you could do for free though? You could hit that like button. Please say it with me, y'all. I don't care if you leave $1, $10, $1,000. It is much, much, much appreciated, y'all. All right, y'all. I'm getting tired of the lies. I'm getting tired of the lies. See, man, this is why I'm a different content creator, and people don't. Um, they stay away from me. I'm one of the biggest Earl Spence fans you could know. I still tell you that I think Earl might need to wrap it up and all of this taking a year or two off and all of this big shark season. And that's no, you got to prove yourself, my guy. You see how I could make a whole video about that if Earl was out here talking like he was the best fighter in boxing and can't nobody do nothing with him. I like Terence Crawford inside of the ring. I am not the biggest fan of Terence Crawford outside of the ring, and the craziest thing, me and him is the same zodiac sign. Remedy that. But the craziest part is he tells Gervonta Davis that Gervonta Davis can't tie his shoes. But you're right, because your laces is too small, my guy. Terence Crawford, well, I got a big issue with Terence Crawford because Terence Crawford lives in delusional land. Are you the number one pound for pound fighter in the world? Arguably, yes. Are you one of the best welterweights that we have ever seen? Are you one of the best fighters that have ever lived in boxing, period? The answer is yes. And I'll argue anybody down that says anything differently. Are you one of the more exciting fighters in boxing? Absolutely. Are you one of the most skilled fighters in boxing? 100%. And you are a terrible businessman when it comes to boxing. You are a terrible promoter when it comes to boxing. You are terrible at marketing yourself when it comes to boxing. So you see how I can sit up there and say all of those things and they all be true? Your laces is too small, Terrence. You're right. Gervonta Davis can't tie your shoes. My guy, he is 7 years younger than you. Do you understand how wild you look trying to compare yourself to a guy when you are 7 years younger than him and he's been a bigger star than you for 5 years now? You've never been a bigger star than Gervonta Davis. And he's 7 years younger than you, my guy. You have what, 7 more fights than Gervonta Davis? 8 more fights? You should. You didn't get your biggest fight in boxing until you was 36 years of age, my guy. You're not in no room to talk about Gervonta Davis and who he is and ain't fighting and ain't doing. And yes, you was undisputed. Who did you become undisputed against? And I hate that in boxing that we try to act like that doesn't matter. It does. 100% it matters. It's why I can't put Inouye over Terence Crawford. But when I make that argument for Terence Crawford fans, they will have absolutely no problem with it. Don't ask me to switch it up for Terence Crawford, though. It matters who you fight. It matters what division you in. It's a lot of people I can't put over David Benavidez. He fights in a way better divisions. There's plenty of people I won't put over Terence Crawford. He fights in better divisions. If Canelo Alvarez wasn't a PED user, it would be plenty of people I could not put over him because not only has he fought great competition, but he has fought in harder divisions. There's plenty of people I wouldn't put over a Shakur Stevenson or a Lomachenko or a Devin Haney or a Gervonta Davis because they fight in the hottest division or one of the two hottest divisions in boxing. That matters who you beat. And you got full credit for Errol Spence, especially from people like me that's Errol Spence fans. You got full credit. But to say that the guy can't tie your laces is because, tie your shoes is because your laces are too small, my guy. You don't know how Gervonta Davis, you won't be looked at as a greater fighter than Gervonta Davis if he winds up beating Teofimo Lopez, Shakur Stevenson, Keyshawn Davis, Lomachenko, you name it. Those are all bigger. You got one big name. He'll have 4, 5, 6, 7 big names. That matters, my guy, because the people that he would have fought will be going down as more all-time greats than the people you have fought, my guy. So unless you're saying you don't think he will ever fight these guys, and like you believe Keyshawn and Shakur beat him, then that's fine, my guy. But we haven't gotten there yet, and he's already a bigger star than you. You got to leave a possibility out that what if he does beat all of them? What if he does fight all of them? You won't be looked at as a greater fighter than he would be. Not from popularity-wise, what you did for the sport of boxing-wise, and who you fought-wise. Let you tell it, Shakur Stevenson is one of the best fighters to ever live. Let you tell it, Keyshawn Davis is one of the all-time greats, or a great fighter now. Don't try to not give Tank Davis credit for it if he beats him, though. You see how you'll switch it up. Then Shakur, let me find out, Crawford, Shakur won't be that great then. It's funny how those things work. You 37 years old, bro, about to retire, 37, 38, however old you is, my guy. You had to beg for your other biggest fight. Everything that you wasn't willing to do with Errol Spence, you're more than willing to do when it comes to Canelo Alvarez and jump up 3 divisions. Do you think there's any fighter in boxing that got the demand to make Gervonta Davis go up 3 divisions? You admitted that Gervonta Davis, that you would be the B-side to Gervonta Davis. For all the Terence Crawford fans out there, understand that he went against his own argument. Terence Crawford admitted that he would be the B-side to Gervonta Davis. Right there, you lost the argument, because you can't say that somebody can't tie your shoes that you are not bigger than, that you would have to concede for. No matter who you fought, what your resume is, it wouldn't mean that much, because if it did, you would be the A-side. If it meant everything. This is how I know that y'all only like talking about certain things when you like talking about it. Because best believe, if Terence Crawford was the biggest star in boxing with his resume, you couldn't tell Bud fans nothing. They'll be making every argument that I'm making. They still try to make it. You had Terence Crawford out here even trying to compare the money he's made. Hey, Terence, I hope you understand we know how to do math. You have fought 8 times in the last 7 years. It's no way you've calculated more money than Gervonta Davis over the last 6, 7 years, my guy. Do you forget 4 or 5 years ago, you was complaining about what you was getting paid? Your purses, you wasn't on pay-per-views or doing none of that, and your perfect purses was public information because you tried to sue Bob Arum. We know how to do that math, my guy. You understand that? Your biggest fight didn't even do half of Tank's biggest fight. And your fight meant much more. Your last fight didn't do better than Tank versus Frank Martin. Okay, you only fight once a year. So your last fight, that hasn't done better than Lamont Roach and Gervonta Davis. Your next fight against Canelo maybe do better than them. But Gervonta, we didn't even expect Gervonta Davis and Lamont Roach to do 400. I expected it. But what I'm saying is they exceeded expectations. You can't use that argument now. You selling 6, 7, you better hit $1 million with Canelo Alvarez. If you don't, anything else is a failure. If you who you say you are and how much you bring to the table and how much you are that guy in boxing, my dude. Can't say somebody can't tie your shoes that you don't generate more than, bro. And this is not Jake Paul. This is a professional boxer that's in the same profession around the same amount of time that you've been boxing, my dude. Over the last 10 years, you've been fighting, so has Gervonta Davis, and he has done more than you. People want to see him more. And you can't say it's just because of knockouts, because you knock a lot of people out too. So I hate people that use that excuse. Well, Tank is exciting. Well, Terence Crawford's not. What is your excuse of why Terence Crawford is not where Gervonta Davis is? Is it because of bad business, bad marketing? Wait until you are 36 years old to get your biggest fight? Could that play a factor? I just wonder. Y'all already know what this is, though, right? Game by any means. And I holla at y'all.